Hello everyone, how you doing? I hope you're all doing really well. I'm Lindsay, your host of the Heavy Metal Journal and writer for This Day in Metal, and I'm back with yet another New Metal Monday where I talk about my favourite new releases of the week. And I'm going to be honest with you, the 4 albums that I want to talk about this week, it's all about the grandiosity, it's all about the dark symphonics, it's all about that opulent, grandiose, operatic stuff that I absolutely love. But before I get into those albums, as always, check out the description box below where you will find a Spotify playlist which will feature every single album that I talk about on my New Metal Monday videos, unless it is a Bandcamp only release, in which case I will get that noted. So if you do use Spotify, make sure to follow that playlist below, which gets updated every Monday after I post my New Metal Monday videos. If you don't use Spotify, don't worry about it, because I will also include links to the band's Bandcamp pages or their YouTube channels in the description box below as well, just so you guys can find the music that I'm talking about as easily and quickly as possible. Whilst you're down there, check out the articles that I write and the rest of the team write for thisdayinmetal.com, where we tell you all about the breaking news in the metal world, special features, interviews with metal musicians, and full album reviews that break down albums track by track in a lot more detail. So check that out and make sure you subscribe to that as well, because it would really help me and the team out. But like I said, 4 brand new, dramatic, opulent albums I want to talk about. And of course, the very first one that I want to talk about is a band that I hold very dear to my heart, and I'm wearing their shirt today. Yes, that's Rotting Christ with Pro Cristo, and it's the 15th studio album from the Hellenic extreme metal band. Words cannot convey how much I love Rotting Christ. That band are incredible, and from their very early beginnings, I cannot fault them at all. Now, granted, I didn't get into Rotting Christ until a few years ago now, but I extensively studied their history and their back catalogue, and I am a full-fledged fan now. I adore this band. So when I got access to Pro Cristo early, I wrote a full album review for This Day in Metal, which will be included in the description box below, and I was so excited. I can't even get the words out. That's how excited I was about this. And honestly, for me personally, I love this album. It is very Rotting Christ. It is very distinguishably them, if you know what I mean by that. Yes, they have a very specific sound, and some people have said online, and I've seen this quite a few times now ever since it was released on Friday, that it's a bit repetitive. And yes, a lot of the riffs have either been taken from the Heretics or sound very similar to the Heretics, at least. But it's a different kind of spin on it. So if you do like Rotting Christ, especially their last few albums, definitely check this one out if you haven't done so already. Personally speaking, I love this. It's got all of that pomp and pageantry. It's got all of the operatics. It's got those drums. It's got the crushing guitars. It's got that very distinct Grecian accent in the vocals. Spoken word moments. There's speeches in it. There's really rasping vocals. It's so powerful and so energetic. I loved this, and the melodies, they just get stuck in your head. There's something just very grand and very operatic about this album, like most Rotting Christ albums, and I love it. So if you like the Hellenic scene, or if you're very new to them, definitely check out this album first, followed by the Heretics. I would say, in my very humble opinion, that those 2 albums are the most accessible out of their discography. But let me know what you think of the new Rotting Christ album, because I've seen quite a lot of people say that they really like it, and other people say that they don't like it because it's repetitive or it's too predictable and things like that. I really enjoy it. I took it for what it was. I love the work that they do, and they've really honed their style now, and I cannot wait to see what they come out with next. Ever since I heard about this album coming out, I was so excited, and it did not disappoint. Okay, so next up on my list, I have Summoner's Circle with Cult, and it's the third studio album from the extreme metal band. Now, the reason I've labelled them as extreme is because they have so many different elements in their music. You've got black metal, you've got death metal, you've got a bit of doom metal, lots of beautiful melodics, and it gets really quite progressive at times as well. But this is so multi-layered. Monastic vocalizations, blistering blast beats, really crushing guitars, gorgeous soaring melodies, and a combination of guttural vocals and really crisp choir-like powerful clean vocals as well that kind of jump back and forth between the two, that really creates this dynamic atmosphere. Plus the guitar work in this can get very progressive. It is very intricate and the riffs are just absolutely beautiful. Now there's something really dark and ominous about this record. Don't get me wrong, it's gorgeous and the melodies really stick with you, but there's something quite creepy about it, as well as all of that heavy death metal and black metal influence in there as well. It really is a cinematic experience, and each track has something different to offer. The record itself is 7 tracks long altogether, and the overall theme of the record is very anti-religion. So if that's your kind of vibe, if you enjoy your subject material in metal to be very anti-religion, with black metal, death metal, melodic elements, symphonic elements, and really intricate, melodically progressive riffs as well, this one is definitely for you. Especially if you really like the likes of Borkner or Emperor, Amorphis, Enslaved, with a little bit of Flesh God Apocalypse in there. This one is definitely for you. Okay, so next up on my list, I have Veil of Panath with Between the Worlds of Life and Death, and it's the 4th studio album from the extreme metal band. I love any band that incorporate Lovecraftian themes into their music. So these guys I was all over. Again, I'm labeling them as extreme metal because you have a lot of death metal, black metal, symphonic metal, and melodic death metal in there as well. But unlike Summoner's Circle, they're not really on the heavily progressive side. It is very much about the black metal, the death metal, the symphonics, and the melodies as well. The melodies are so rich, but don't let that fool you, because this record is incredibly hard. It's just constant blast beats. It's ridiculous, the power and the energy behind this record, but it's ridiculously catchy at the same time. They have a lot of cool keyboards and synthy moments as well, which are really, really catchy, but this record goes hard. The solos in this are soaring and they just echo and fly right at you, and they are so ridiculously intricate. But amongst all of that heaviness with the death metal and the black metal, you do have some really cool groove-laden mid-tempo stompy stomps that you cannot help but move your head to. It is so catchy. There's haunting parts, it's deeply atmospheric, and it's just an absolute joy to listen to. Another cinematic experience that is multi-dimensional, and the vocal style is so powerfully guttural, it's ridiculous. Sounds like it's coming from the depths of hell. The demon behind this voice is unreal. This record keeps you hooked from the get-go, and despite the fact it's so multi-dimensional, it doesn't waste itself. It doesn't get over the top or overbearing. Every single track has its place and it fits into the record so well, and it really flows incredibly tightly despite the fact how heavy this is. Brilliant production on this record, highly recommend it. Again, if you are a fan of the likes of Vader, Dimmu Borgir, Behemoth, Sulphur Aeon, that kind of sound, this one is definitely for you. Okay, so last up on my list, but certainly by no means least, I have Dark Affliction with 5 Stages of Grief, and it's the debut album from the atmospheric black metal band from Greece. This record is otherworldly stunning. I cannot get over how beautiful this record is. Straight up black metal, so you have all of that really chugging, frantic black metal riffage, pummeling blast beats, heavy bass lines, dissonant, screaming vocals, and it's just absolutely incredible. But there's also a beauty behind it as well. Haunting whispers, beautiful keys and piano, and it's densely atmospheric. The thing that I really liked about this, and I really love my black metal, is those beautiful keys and the beautiful piano really do break up the harsh landscape of that black metal riffage. And the guitar solos are incredible. They soar and they echo and they just fly. They're so ridiculously emotive, but so heavy at the same time. I love it when a record manages to hit that sweet spot between heaviness, the brutality and the ferocity, but it's also very atmospheric and very emotive at the same time, and this is no exception. Now, each track is about the 5 different stages of grief, and it's just full of this very beautiful darkness and a powerful emotion to this, but it doesn't falter on the brutality and the ferocity either. This is a remarkable debut album, and I highly suggest you get onto this. So if you are a fan of the likes of Devisor or Wolves in the Throne Room or Falkenbach, you're definitely going to want to get onto this. I love this, highly recommend it. And that's it for this week's New Metal Monday. Once again, comment down below to let me know what you think of today's records, and if you have any of your own recommendations, please let me know and I'll get them added to my list, because there's so many albums coming out, it's impossible for me to catch every single one of them, but I do really try my best. Let me know what you think of Rotten Christ's new album. Do you agree that it's too repetitive, or are you like me and you absolutely love it because Rotten Christ cannot do any wrong in your eyes? That's just me. I might be slightly obsessed, but you know, we all have our vices. Like, share, subscribe. I really do appreciate the support as always. Thank you so much, and I will see you very soon in my next video.